The Mr. Olympia competition is only 7 weeks away. In the Classic Physique division, only 3 of the top 6 competitors from last year are returning, so that means many top spots are up for grabs. This year there's 31 qualified competitors in the Classic Physique division, which is simply too many for everybody to know. In this video, I'll be covering some of my favorite competitors this year that have the best physiques or they just have interesting stories behind them. I'm Steve Sosa, and this is 8 bodybuilders that you need to know for the 2020 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia competition. To start the list, we have the reigning champion, Chris Bumstead. After placing second in 2017 and 2018, Chris won the title in 2019, edging out Breon Ainsley. Chris hopes to retain his title with a more definitive win this year.
This year, for the first time in my life, I believe if I'm the best version of myself or any better than last year, no one stands a chance.
That's good.
That's my literal mindset.
There was some debate if Chris deserved to win because he does have some flaws in his physique. Obviously, as the champion, Chris has a ridiculous physique, especially with such a big frame and a small waist, but he does have some flaws. His biceps and back are both a little bit weak compared to the other competitors in the division. Based on recent Instagram posts by Chris, it appears that Chris improved his back and biceps, so he may come in stronger this year. It's important to note that Chris has an autoimmune disease that flared up during his prep for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. According to his coach Ian Vieira, they have a much better handle on his disease this year, so hopefully Chris will be able to bring a better package than ever. Second on the list is Breon Ainsley, who won the title in 2017 and 2018, and then lost his title to Chris in 2019. Breon's confident that he can reclaim his title this year. As one might expect, Breon isn't too happy that he took second place, and he's made a few disparaging comments about Chris in the last year. Breon Ainsley made a comment that no Mr. Olympia should have any weak points, which is a shot at Chris about his back and biceps.
I don't think his physique can match up against mine when I'm on my A game and when I'm 1,000%. I just don't think. I don't think he is as complete as I am from head to toe, and I think that's what has allowed me to be victorious over him over the past couple of years.
Chris and Breon have greatly different physiques. Chris is tall with a small waist and has really good lines, whereas Breon's on the shorter side of things. Breon has one of the best physiques in all of classic bodybuilding. It's just that his physique isn't necessarily the most classic. And the fact that Chris won in 2019 suggests that maybe the judges of the division are looking for something different than Breon. Chris and Breon have one of the most exciting rivalries in modern bodybuilding, and it's going to be great to see them share the stage again. Third on the list is Logan Franklin, who will be making his debut onto the Classic Physique Mr. Olympia stage this year. Logan turned pro in 2015 as a men's physique competitor. Logan has competed in 3 Mr. Olympia competitions in the men's physique division, placing as high as 7th place. In 2019, Logan made the change to Classic Physique. His first competition was the Tampa Pro in 2019, and he placed 3rd. Logan took 1st place at the Chicago Pro, which earned him his qualification for the Mr. Olympia. Although Logan has an excellent structure, coming from men's physique, he's still a little bit undersized for Classic. One thing I like about Logan is his posing. Logan tries to hit a lot of unique Classic poses that we don't see often from other competitors. Although he was a bit shaky in his last showing, hopefully his posing's a little bit smoother by the time the Olympia comes around. There's been a little bit of back and forth between Logan and Chris on Instagram. About a week ago, Chris posted a physique update on Instagram, which Logan commented on. He says, "Looks the same as last year," with an excited face. Logan's probably just trying to advertise for himself, but it'll be interesting to see if he can back up the trash talk on stage. Fourth on the list is Danny Hester, the original champion in the Classic Physique division. In 2016, Danny won the inaugural title, but since then, his placings have slid every year. In 2017, Danny dropped to 5th place, which is a pretty big drop from 1st place the year prior. And then in 2017 and 2018, Danny got 12th. Don't expect Danny to make a rise again in the division, but since he was the original champion, he's worth mentioning. As far as I know, Danny's the oldest competitor in the division. This year he's going to be 51 when he steps on stage, which is absolutely ridiculous. Although he's not really in the mix for the title anymore, it's still really impressive that he's competing at this age. Next up is Alex Cambronero, a Costa Rican athlete who's coming into the Olympia with a lot of momentum. As I said earlier, there's only 3 returning top 6 competitors, and Alex is one of them. Alex placed 6th in last year's Mr. Olympia competition, and his momentum comes from winning the 2020 Arnold Classic, which is the 2nd biggest show of the year. I think Alex is relatively unknown by the casual fan, but he does have a very complete physique, similar to Chris Bumstead's in the fact he does have a good broad shoulders with a narrow waist. He doesn't really have any weak points in his physique, but he's not as crazy extreme as Chris is. Taking a look at his physique, I think we can expect to see Alex again in the top 6 this year. Sixth on the list is Terrence Ruffin, who placed 9th in the 2018 Mr. Olympia competition. After the Olympia competition, Terrence took several months off to improve his physique. Terrence didn't compete again until the end of 2019 at the Niagara Falls Pro, where he won first place and earned his qualification for this year's Olympia. Most recently, Terrence got a close second place in the 2020 Arnold Classic to Alex Cambronero. At the Arnold's, Terrence came in ridiculously well conditioned, and if he can bring that conditioning again to the Olympia stage, he's surely going to place top 6, I think. Terrence is held back a little bit by his overall structure. He has a bit of a wider waist, but I don't know if there's anything he can do about that. Maybe Terrence will have to work on his posing to find specific things he can do to make the waist look a little bit smaller, but I'm excited to see what he can bring to the stage. Number 7 on the list is Danny Yunan, a 29-year-old bodybuilder. In 2018, Danny placed 6th at the Olympia, and then in 2019, he got 7th, so he did slip out of the top 6. But this year I would expect to see him make a return to the top 6. Danny's got a complete physique for the most part. My only big knock on him is I think his calves are too small. The way his quads are so overpowering, I think it makes his legs look a little bit off. Danny's young, so he still has time to make improvements to his physique. Expect to see Danny be a mainstay in the top 6 at the Classic Olympia. 8th on the list is a fan favorite, Wesley Vissers, owner of Vintage Genetics. Wesley gets a lot of comparisons to Arnold because he does have a similar look in their front double biceps. Wesley's criticized a little bit for having a blocky physique. After a disappointing finish in the 2018 Olympia where Wesley didn't even place, Wesley took 2019 off to make improvements to his physique, so it'll be exciting to see him return to the stage. There you have it, guys. That's 8 classic physique bodybuilders that I think you need to know for this year's Olympia. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for future content.